You know that moment when your phone rings and instead of answering, you stare at it like it's a bomb about to detonate? The screen shows a name you love, maybe a best friend, a family member, but you feel this physical wave of exhaustion wash over you. You don't answer. You flip the phone over, face down, and tell yourself, I'll call them back in an hour. But you know you won't. Yeah, we need to talk about that. And I'm not talking about being introverted or just needing a lazy Sunday. I'm talking about the Vanishing Act, the kind where you slowly retreat from your own life, ghosting everyone you care about, not because you stopped loving them, but because you literally forgot how to speak the language of connection. Here's what people get wrong about you. They think you're being distant, rude, or maybe that you just don't care anymore. They take it personally. But what they don't see is that your silence isn't an act of aggression, it's an act of survival. Because when you're overwhelmed, your brain flips a breaker switch. Think of your emotional energy like a bank account. Most people have a steady income of energy. They sleep, they eat, they chat, they recharge. But for you, right now, the expenditure has exceeded the income for so long that you are operating in emotional debt. When someone asks, "How are you?" it feels like a debt collector knocking at the door, asking for money you simply do not have. And here is where things get confusing. You develop this strange contradiction. You are desperately, painfully lonely. You crave to be held, to be heard, to be understood. Yet, the moment someone tries to reach out, you build a fortress. It's the Porcupine Dilemma. You're cold and want warmth, but your quills are so sharp from being in survival mode that you can't let anyone get close enough to warm you up. You start doing things that make no sense to the outside world. You'll spend 3 hours doom scrolling on social media, watching the lives of strangers, because that requires zero output from you. But a 2-minute text to your mom? That feels like climbing Everest. You start grieving relationships that haven't even ended yet, just because you don't have the energy to maintain them. This isolation triggers a fierce, almost toxic independence. You stop asking for help, not because you don't need it, but because explaining why you need it takes too many words. And words are expensive right now. So you say, "I'm fine, I'm just tired," or "I've been busy." These are the 3 lies that keep the world at a safe distance. You learn to live in the silence. But it's not a peaceful silence. It's a heavy, waiting silence. You're in a room full of people, but you feel like you're watching them from behind a thick pane of glass. You can see their mouths moving. You can hear the laughter, but you can't quite touch the frequency they're on. You are physically present, but emotionally, you clocked out weeks ago. And then comes the guilt. Oh, the guilt is brutal. You lie in bed at night, running through a list of people you've failed, the messages you didn't reply to, the plans you canceled. You convince yourself that you are a bad friend or a bad person. You tell yourself they are better off without your heaviness. You convince yourself that disappearing is actually a kindness to them. But underneath that guilt, there is a grief that rarely gets acknowledged. You aren't just missing your friends, you are missing yourself. You are mourning the version of you that used to be easygoing. The version that could pick up the phone without anxiety. The version that had enough light to share with others. You remember being the fun one, the listener, the rock. And looking at who you are now, this quiet, guarded shadow, feels like a betrayal. You didn't choose to be this way. Life just asked for too much, for too long, and your nervous system did the only thing it knew how to do to keep you safe. It shut down the external inputs. So, let's reframe this. This isn't a permanent state. This is a winter. Animals hibernate when the resources are scarce and the environment is harsh. They don't apologize for it. They go into the dark to conserve energy so they can survive to see the spring. Your isolation is your hibernation. It is your mind's way of saying, "Repair in progress, please wait." You are not broken because you need to step back. You are just recalibrating. Real friends, the ones who matter, will wait outside the cave. They won't try to drag you out. They'll just leave a light on so you know the way back when you're ready. And you will be ready. One day, the phone will ring, and it won't feel like a bomb. It will just feel like a phone. You'll answer, you'll laugh, and the glass wall will dissolve. Until then, forgive yourself for the silence. You're not disappearing, you're just recharging. If this video felt like I was reading your mind, it's because you are not alone in this feeling. If you're in your winter right now, in the comments so we can see how many of us are hibernating together. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to understand yourself a little better.